Okay, this is our third module for training. What we're going to focus on today is going to be contacts, moving through your contact system, understanding how the contact system works, MLS and the MLS search, and then how to do MLS saved links, and how to do the map search in the back end, as well as cross search through all the different MLSs. And then a simple explanation on Flyer Builder and how the Flyer Builder will work once the templates get in, and some of the neat features you'll be able to do with our internal flyers to help complement your existing array of marketing tools. Okay, so let's start with contacts. So again, for point of reference, we are on the home page of MyConnect. So we're at MyConnect and Home, and My Home. We've got all of our tiles nice and centered. We've got an understanding of who we are up on the right-hand side. I've got Jim's account up. And then from here, we want to go to Contacts and then Contacts and Leads. Or from the tile, you can click and get to the same place right here. So we've got Contacts and Leads there, and we've got Contacts and Leads here. So we click on Contacts. The first thing that we see is a list of all of our web requests or our leads. So it's important to note that the web request or lead is kind of a pre-contact. And so what we've got here is any leads that have come through my site or any leads that the corporate site has assigned to me would show up here. And until those are accepted and kind of moved into some sort of a system, they are not yet contacts. And so we bring you to this page to make sure that you see any leads that are in the system that maybe you missed the notifications. But those are not contacts yet. So let's go ahead and move to contacts. So we click on contacts. The page display is pretty straightforward. You've seen this list now probably a couple of times, but you'll see it a lot more the way that we lay things out. You can click on these and resort. The first click is last to first, and then of course first to last. And so you can sort by all these. It is default sorted by the intake of the lead. So, I'm sorry, the contact record date. So how late or early the contact record date is. In other words, your newest contacts are on top. And then you've got your categories and groups over here. Jim has a ton of different categories and groups, I think 80 some. And so he's got a lot, and he can easily just click to modify those. But when you end up with as many contacts as a lot of you have in the system, it's a little hard on a page that just displays 25 how to go and sort through all of these. Okay, so we go ahead and go over to Find. If we're looking for someone specific or maybe a specific group, we go to Find. And then this gives us a nice little filter bar. So we've got first and last name, we've got email, maybe when the contact was created. If it's been assigned to us to view from another agent, we can have that here too, and whether or not it was deleted within our system. So let's just type for my last name, Elmer. We hit search. And the system then pulls up Ken Elmer. Okay, so from here we can manage the group that I'm in. And it says that I'm in a couple of different groups: short take, uptakes, or updates, and vendors. I can modify the contact by clicking the edit button. That's kind of the universal edit button throughout the system. So let me click on that, and we'll go to kind of a modified contact record. So from here, again, we've got our tabs at the top that give us different gray bars, so we can just jump down the page if we need to. Profile is pretty self-explanatory. It's got all the things that you would expect. You can even choose what kind of a mapping you would like. Last name, comma, first, which is why I always type it in as Elmer. It always seems to come up first. You can also click all your mapping to be first, comma, last. I'm sorry, just first, last. We've got all of our different groups, and categories are the same thing. You can have any contact in multiple of these, which would totally make sense. And then pretty straightforward fields down here, everything that you can think of: multiple phones, multiple emails, all sorts of stuff. General, preferred languages. And then down here is really interesting. These are static fields that are just input that can't be adjusted, but this tells you what kind of marketing is being done to this contact right now. There's another way and maybe an easier way to do this and be able to actually launch marketing in the process. And I'm going to take you through that here in a second. So let's scroll back up to the top of the page. Again, let me show you where we're at. I'm just going to get out of this record here real quick. I basically went to all my contacts and I went to find. I typed in the last name of Elmer and I found my contact information. If I'm Jim, I guess I found Ken Elmer's contact information. We'll talk like I'm Jim. So I found Ken Elmer's contact information, and then I clicked on the edit record. Now, if I want to, actively market or do something with Ken Elmer or take notes or whatever, I go ahead and just click on the first name. So you can see it underlines and it says View Contact Details. I don't need to edit the record, but what I need to do is go in here and actually get some business from Ken. So I've got a little bit of a summary of what that is. I've got a quick link to email. So if I click that, I can shoot an email out to Ken, and you'll see kind of the email interface here. You can do agents and groups and categories, all the same stuff that you would normally expect. You can do attachments, you can do HTML or quick text, pretty straightforward. We'll go through more detail with these in campaigns as we get onto that next week's trainings, but just so you know that it's there. Same thing with setting up an appointment. If I want to link this contact record, Ken's record, to an appointment and then pop it on my calendar, I just click appointment, it locks that, asks me a few different details, pretty straightforward. But the interesting thing is all the stuff I can find out in these tabs regarding what's going on with Ken right now. So if Ken has any new requests, which would be new things from the web that he's asked, so if he's on my website and he's asked for some details about a specific listing, or if he's just said, hey, contact me again, something from my website, it would show up here. All requests would show up there. If I was regularly surfing Jim's website in a logged in state, then this would show all my activity, and this just gets nice and big, and then you can, as this gets a much bigger box here and has much more information in it, you can blow this box up and be able to take a look at more detail of what properties I'm looking at, what kind of searches I'm running, all the website activity that you need. So all of that stuff is here. And again, how did we get here? Let's just back up for 2 seconds. We searched for Ken and we clicked on Ken's details. If you want to know all the pieces of Ken's record that's in the system, just at a quick glance, you go to full details. But this is the interesting tab, is the marketing tab. So the marketing tab shows you what I'm currently receiving. So right now, Home Finder and PIP reports, which we'll go through in Module 4 today. Home Finder PIP, I'm receiving several. So I've got a couple of those that are currently active. Market Tracker, I've got one that's currently active. On the website, I have no favorite properties, and I haven't really done anything on the website. I haven't ever done anything on the website because it would show up here. My favorites is the same thing as favorite properties. You can go directly to that link as this box gets bigger. And so Market Tracker, Home Finder, PIP, the big three when it comes to our reports, this actually shows you what's happening. Now, considering let's say Ken doesn't have a Market Tracker and I want to set him up. Do I need to go all the way out of the system and go to marketing and then reports? That's where the Market Tracker is. I don't. I can just hot click here and it takes me directly to the ability to set up a new Market Tracker report for Ken. Same thing here. If I want to set up a new Home Finder link, a listing alert, or a PIP report, I just click on that and then it sets it right up. Okay? So nice features to be able to do automated marketing while you're looking at a client, which is one way to do it. The other way to do it would be from the marketing tabs, which we'll show you. I'll show you on the next module. So as we go through, we can add notes. Any note gets time-stamped and put in here as kind of a part of the system. And that is the contact record. So I've got all my contact information here. I've got the ability to find. If I need to go all the way back to kind of re-looking at my contacts from scratch, I would just go back to my find and take the filter off. The filters are persistent, and that way every time you come back to this page, your search is still there. So just hit reset, resets all the fields, click search, and it goes back to show me everybody. Okay? If we didn't do that, then every time you came back to this page, you would have to redo the search. And so we've kept the search persistent, and so people can easily come back and find what they were looking at, and then if they want to reset it, they just reset it. Okay? All right, so that's contacts and leads. Obviously, groups is just categories, so that's managing or seeing people that are in specific groups or categories. Web requests takes you to the same place that the leads do, and so just another place to get there. This is an interesting piece here, is sent communication. If you just want to look at all of your sent communication, you just click on this, and this is all the reports, emails, everything that's been sent from the system to specific clients of yours. So any drafts that you have are here, and we see that we have a draft that's completely untitled. This is the email that I just opened up when I showed you how to email Ken's record about, 3 minutes ago. And so it saved it as a draft because we left it open long enough, which is nice. So the system saves drafts, so you can just close out of emails and come back to them and finish them at a later time if you're doing that kind of a communication. I click on sent items, and this is all the ways that the system has communicated with my clients. So we've got new leads, we've got thank you messages, we've got all sorts of stuff here. And as this report grows, it only makes sense as this report grows over time, a couple of weeks to get a lot of data in here. Then we'll add ways to be able to filter it by individuals and filter it by contact with specific clients. But for now, if you're just looking for sent items that come out of the system, this is kind of a catch-all link that we put in there for everybody. Quickly contact, import, and export. Pretty straightforward. Everything that was in the Agent Achieve system is now in this system, so there should be really no need to start out everything by doing an export from Agent Achieve and an import into here. But if you're sitting on a bunch of contacts that were not in that system and need to move to this system, and you want to import them, you just select the source, Outlook or something else. It needs to be a CSV file, okay? And what is the comma separator? What this means is a CSV file has a common separator value that allows us to figure out what the different fields are. It almost always is a comma. And so just 9 times out of 10, especially if you're exporting from Outlook, just leave this as a comma separated value there. Scroll down, let us know what category you would like these imported into. So what group should these contacts be imported into? Click on import. After that, the only step left is we let you take a look at all the fields of the file that we're importing, and then you can tell us what those fields mean. So for example, tell us which field is first name, tell us which field is last, tell us which field is mobile phone, maybe other phone, tell us which field is address, street address, city, state, zip. This allows the file to get in there and your contact to get in there perfectly, as opposed to us just throwing all the data in there and then you've got a contact record that's really screwed up. Exporting is even easier. You can export your entire list by not checking any groups, or you can check a group or two, export to Outlook, an Outlook file, export to CSV, and then just scroll down here, click export, and it downloads to your browser. All right, so we've gone through just an overview of contacts. That should at least get you through the system, so you can see your contacts, you can manage them, you can keep notes going, and start to get reports moving as we get into the reports module. What I want to do is give you a quick overview of the MLS search. So again, let's go back to our point of reference, which is home. So this is our home page here. You can see that I'm logged in under Jim still. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on MLS, and I'm going to click property search. Now, the way that the system is set up here, any agent in the entire Drysdale platform can search any MLS that's in the entire Drysdale platform. So what that means is Jim is only a member of 3 MLSs, but he can search through and develop links and save searches for any MLS or any MLS listing in your entire footprint. So Metro, Fresno, Incline, Sierra MLS, Tahoe, Jim can run searches and find things for any of those. Okay, so this is the first thing that comes up, and there's an entry search like you would expect. There's also a map search. So let's do the entry search first, and we'll go from there. Currently, it's on common, and common means I'm searching through all the different MLSs. If I wanted to search just under one, I would click that specific one. It reloads the page because the field layout is different for Fresno than it is for everybody else. Everybody has a little bit of a different feel. We'll go back here and we'll do a common one. So let's scroll down here and let's say I don't know MLS, but I do want to generate a list of everything that's 450,000 up to 452,000. And that's it. Status, I guess we could say active. List date, let's say since the beginning of the month. And then up here, we don't know kind of what this looks like. Is this a huge amount of listings that we don't want to sort through? So we click on count before we click on search. Now you don't have to, but it does give you an idea of how big that search is. So in all the different MLSs that you have, from 450 to 452 that are active, in the last 8 days, there are 32 items. So we go ahead and click search, and we can see a list of those items. So from here, this is kind of our saved search, right? So we've got 32 listings here. We're showing 1 through 25 on 2 different pages. So from here on the top right-hand side, I've got a list of no photos. If I want to take a look at what these look like, I click on photos and it reloads the page, giving me the photo of the exact property. And I can scroll down and take a look at those. Or if I want to select them on the map, it gives me a map view as well. So this shows me on the map where those are at. And I can zoom in, take a closer look. Again, it's showing me 1 through 25, so it's showing me just the first page. If we did more than one page at a time, it would be an overwhelming number. But typically you would have you would have numbers in a very specific, defined geographic area. And so this map would be a little bit easier to see and a little bit more confined numbers. Okay. So I go back over here to map view, go back to photo view. Let's take a look at the entire result set. Now from here, I can save the search to my client. So that lets me pull up and give them a report, either a home finder or a property investment profile report. And we'll go through those 2 reports here in the next module. Or I can just save it to my account. So I can save it to my account so I can take a look at it later. So from here, MLS, my saved searches would be my previous saved searches. I click on this and then I can review them there. I can edit them there. And once I open them up, then I can also send them out in a specific report format, or I can save them to a client's account. Okay. So MLS property search, my saved searches. Let's go back to the property search. We'll get rid of these results. So we're just going to X out of the results tab. And we're back here. We'll reset the form. So there's nothing on the form. So we're back to scratch. And again, where are we? We're at home, point of reference, home, and we've gone to MLS and property search. And we're looking to do a property search. But this time we really want to do a map search. We'd like to do something that's a little bit more specialized geographic area. It's not definable in the MLS. Maybe a slight little neighborhood. So we click on map search. Again, we can pick our MLS, or we can just hit common, which shows us everything. If you'd like to do some sort of a nice polygon or circle, those buttons are up here to the right. I've done a couple here already, and so these searches stay as saved searches within this frame box. But if I click on radial, I can start right in the middle of downtown, and I can just click, name the search, circle search, and then from here it shows me all the listings that are in there. I can grab it and I can move it around a little bit. It'll automatically reload. From there, if I'm like, I really like that area, but I don't want to show anything under 300 grand, I come down here and I just list $300,000 and then update the search from there. Okay? So If I want to take a look at the other ones that I've done in the past, sorry, I didn't hit, let me show you exactly what I did. I went to 300,000, but I didn't hit search map. So it did not refresh here. So when I went to 300,000 and hit search map, it refreshed, and you could see that it went from, I don't know, 30 or 40 listings down to 18, because now the minimum is 300,000. Okay. If I'd like to save this and move it out to one of my clients, I need to move it back into that search result, that listing view, and then have those tabs from there. So I click display as a search result, and then it shows me all those. Should be 18. Yep, it's 18 items. It's got my parameters locked in there, and then I can save out to my client, or I can save a search to my account. All right. So we were at map search here. If I want to go take a look at the other searches I've done, I can click on one. This is one that I did on the test account. And I think this one here has got some different parameters, so we'll unselect that. We'll click on search map. Yep, and that shows me the 12 listings in that specific polygon. And just like the polygon on the front facing piece of the site, this one is very easily modifiable as well. You can really get in there and fine tune some nice areas, and then you can make adjustments and fine tune inside of the polygon exactly what you'd like. So you can imagine polygon here, square, circle, all pretty straightforward. Works for any MLS in your system. And right now we're searching common, but this can also be done by specific MLS. Okay. All right, if I want to make any modifications to my listings, Jim has one now. Click on MLS number, and this shows you kind of a really quick little sketch of what the listing looks like. You can do this for all of your listings and your office listings. For now, we're allowing you to add some additional property information and a branded virtual tour if you need to, and you can manage the geolocation as well. And then we will have additional enhancements to this as everyone gets comfortable with the system and how to make those listing pieces personable as well. Okay. My office listings, same thing. You can't add to the office listings, but you can go in here and you can manage some pieces with office listings and print off the spec sheet. Okay, so we're at MLS, property search. We just went over the property search pieces. We took a look at our saved searches. Let's go back to the home page. I'd like to show you kind of a demo of what we're going to put in here for a flyer system. You still have access to Resource Center, to your publisher, documentation and document center, and to everything that you did, Express Docs and Merrill and all those people for your different flyer systems. Okay. But at the same time, we have a couple of unique pieces to our little quick flyer builder that we thought would be interesting to plug in. So let me give you a little peek into those, and then those will be ready to launch next week, as we've got some templates that we're custom designing through Judy's team for your guys' benefit. So I go to MLS and I go to My Flyers. Okay. Now these are some flyers that I previously built. So as this page gets big, you can just go ahead and search. You can search by name or specific address. You can search by any field on here when it comes to the actual flyer itself. So they're easy to find once you get a few hundred in here. If I want to click on new and do a new flyer, I click new. So we just put a dummy template in here for now. So I click it, I can see what it looks like. Pretty straightforward. I click that yes, I want to use this flyer with a little checkbox. I click next. So this tells me that I need to tell the system what property I'm going to put in here. So I click OK, and I forgot my MLS number. I have no idea. And so I can go search on the fly, and I can find anything in the system. Now, where the reason this is key is I can build this flyer with my branding, with certain disclaimers, of course, for any listing in any of your MLSs. Okay, so it doesn't have to be just your listing, but you can do a promo flyer for any listing. So you can do it for someone else's listing down the hall that you're going to set an open house for this weekend. Put your branding on there. All the information from the MLS, the public stuff, is on the flyer, and you can build it for pretty much any MLS in the system. So we'll just go through here and search again. we'll get a count. We've got 560 items in there. This typically wouldn't be how you would do finding an MLS number to print a flyer for, but I mean, if you were looking, you could get search results here. You would click on one of those search results. You'd click OK. From there, you click Next. Now, here's the step that we're missing that we're going to plug in. You'll also be able to assign any agent within the system the branding for that flyer. So if someone else is sitting in an open house for you and you want to knock out some flyers for them, you could easily go pick one of the your MLSs. I mean, pick one of your record numbers that that the house is, right? The address or whatever. So pick that record, assign it to the flyer, just like we did. And then there'll be a drop down here that'll say, you know, whose branding should we use? And then it could be another agent within the company. So you can make a flyer for any listing in your MLSs branded to any agent within your company. I hope that made sense. Got a little confusing there, but it's very simple. Basically, any flyer for anything is kind of what we're saying. So test again, 65. And then we'll hit save and close. Once we do that, the flyer pops up right away. And it's also saved into our list of flyers. So you can get an idea of what we've got here. This is just kind of a demo to see how it will fill in all the different pieces. Okay, you can save or print or email that from here. And that's now test again 65. It is the top one in the system here because it was just newly created. So always sorting from newest to oldest. Okay, so again, MLS, My Flyers. So that's where this is because it's based on the MLS system and how to communicate from the MLS system. Okay, so designs coming for those here shortly and some increased functionality. When we're on the ground for the next 2 weeks doing training, we'll dive more into the flyer system and deeper into the contacts as well, how to run reports, all those different pieces, how to generate labels. All that stuff's built into the system. But again, today is really an overview. This module is really meant to be an overview as well. So MLS property search, we did that by fields or by mapping. And then My Flyers. And then if you need to go back to your saved searches, My Saved Searches. Okay. Good. All right. Well, this ends this module. We're at just under 30 minutes. So we've got time for questions through the chat window. And then we'll move on to reports. So the next module is going to just go over the reports that we've been talking about. We've got 3: Home Finder, Property Investment, and Market Report. And these are the biggest key to our CRM and stay in touch tools. You'll definitely want to stick around for those. So that's module number 4 coming up in a few minutes.